Okay, so continuing with the LIFO issues, the next thing is LIFO liquidation. So LIFO liquidation, as the inventory grows, the difference between the LIFO value of the inventory and the replacement cost of the inventory will continue to grow as well. Okay, let's translate that. This book, you kind of have to translate everything. Okay, so your beginning inventory, you pay in $2. As your inventory grows, chances are the prices you're paying for it are going to be increasing. So the difference between your replacement cost of the inventory and the inventory that you started out with is going to grow as well. Okay, so what's the significance of that? Let's go back over here. So your oldest inventory was $2 a unit, last in, first out. Your ending inventory is the oldest or lowest cost items, and your cost of goods sold is your newest ones. Okay, so if a company has more sales than they were sort of planning on, or whatever happens, and this is their inventory, as they're going in to do the cost of goods sold, well, if they sold 2,000 items, they'd say, oh, all right, so they'd be dipping into older layers. They'd have to say, yeah, to get 2,000 items, we'd have to do last in, first out. There'd be this 500, and then this 300, and this one. But we're getting back into the $4 a unit layers. And that's not good if you're using LIFO, because all of a sudden your cost of goods sold is going to be reduced, your tax liability is going to be increased, and that's not the point of using LIFO. So when it's not the intended effect, as they say. All right? So this is called LIFO liquidation, when you're getting back into the older layers. And that's something that that companies generally want to avoid. And if it can encourage poor buying habits, like they say, oh no, we're going to dip into our old layers quick, let's buy some more, whether they really need it or not. That could happen. Okay, so what did companies do to get around this LIFO liquidation problem? Well, they said, oh, let's do pools of inventories. And so your traditional LIFO is your sort of unit LIFO. You're doing everything by units of inventory. You keep track of everything. So with LIFO liquidation, you can have individual items that all of a sudden get very popular, and you get into the LIFO liquidation. So they came up with pools. They'll group similar items of inventory together in a pool, and so if one if they have to dip into the layers for one item, chances are they're not for another, and it kind of balances out. And so it still keeps track of all the individual items of inventory, but there's a little less likelihood of liquidation. But it's a pain because the product mix can change, and you always got to be messing with your pools. Something could become obsolete. So that's where they came up with dollar value LIFO, okay? And this is where your inventory is measured only in dollars, not in units. This totally fixes the problem of LIFO liquidation. So you're valuing your inventory as a quantity of dollars rather than of physical goods. And your increases in inventory are measured in dollars and not units. And so, there's no problem if stuff becomes obsolete or your items change. Doesn't really matter. Okay, so dollar value LIFO, I used to go through and make students calculate it, but I don't anymore since I sat down with some people who teach at Northeastern, and they say, oh no, we don't make our students do that. So I said, oh, okay, well maybe I don't need to do that to you guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go through and show how dollar value LIFO works. You will not have to do the computation. So that's what will be next.